Hi, I'm Stephanie Catalano, licensed clinical social worker, personal development author, life coach, public speaker, and the host of the Mindful Makeover podcast. It is my mission to bring you insightful conversations that will help you as you work towards reaching your highest potential and a higher level of consciousness. If you're ready for healing, empowerment, and transformation, you're in the right place, so let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode. Before I get started on the conversation I want to have with you all today, I want to take a moment to remind you of all the holiday specials I am offering on the Mindful Makeover Workbook, the digital course, and Mindful Makeover Guided Experience, which includes the workbook and 10 videos that I pre-recorded of myself guiding you through your experience of the workbook. I am offering mega sales right now, so don't forget to connect with me on Instagram at mindfulliving.now and visit themindfulliving.com to check out all the deals and do some shopping for you and your loved ones. So, as we all know, we are officially in chapter 12 of 12, and I always think December is an interesting month. People tend to be frantic with the holidays, and also there seems to be this extra amount of pressure people place on themselves to get things done before the new year. And of course, New Year resolutions, which I absolutely love the new year because I do feel it's a fresh start. It's a time to refocus. And the New Year resolutions are also great, but most people forget their New Year resolution by March. So 90 days into the new year, and suddenly it's like the resolution was never set. And I want to talk about this because I think it's time for a deeper level of commitment to yourself. From my observation and experience working with people on a coaching and therapeutic level, people tend to have high expectations and get caught up in the should statements such as, I should have this, I should do it this way, or they should know, or they should do. And along with this, people tend to end the new year and begin the new year with the mindset of, I gotta have it, right? I have to have it. It's gotta be just this way. And you can fill in the blank with whatever. So I gotta have more money. I have to get that new job. I need so-and-so to do this for me. And the list really goes on. And when you go through the days focused on specific outcomes or focusing on people, places, things, and events of the past and trying to control the way the day plays out or trying to control people and how they respond to you or what they say to you or how they show up in front of you, all this does is keep you from feeling good and moving forward in your life. And in fact, when you're focused on trying to control things that are outside of you, you are actually working against yourself and against the universe. Focusing on the I gotta have it or what's going on outside of you, whether it's you can't stand so-and-so because they do this, or blaming your bad day on someone else, or blaming some event of the past as to why you can't move forward and achieve your goals. You guys know what I'm talking about because we've all been there, right? It's really, really, really easy to blame things that are outside of us. But when we do this, it creates a resistance and a block. So it's better to not focus solely on what you want, because typically when you focus on all the things that you want and you try to control the exact outcome, it creates anxiety, it creates stress, worry, and even panic sometimes, and other unpleasant feelings like frustration, irritation, agitation, and it keeps you from being able to obtain or achieve the things that you're seeking. And so if you think about this, it actually makes sense. And I'll use finances as an example. If you're worried about when you will begin to make more money and how you are going to pay your bills and buy Christmas or holiday gifts, or maybe you're worried about when you'll ever pay off your debt, or maybe you're worried about all of these things, it's inevitable that this will create a block because, for one, you're focused on what's lacking and it blocks you from being in a space of allowing, of trusting, and doing things with ease. You can't move with ease when you're consumed by anxiety. You can't do things with grace when you're held back by the fear of the unknown. So it's more important to cultivate the feeling of what you want to feel and then begin living in that state. Begin living as if you already have that space. Because think about it, when you feel good, you do good, right? And when you do good, you attract good or you receive good. And so this applies no matter what it is you're seeking, from seeking something that's material, like more money, a car, a new house, an apartment, or a new pair of shoes, a bag. And it also applies to the other things that are more unseen in life, like forgiving someone or having someone forgive you, or reconnecting with somebody that you have lost connection with, or repairing a relationship. Whatever your individual story is, we all have the things that we want and that we hope for. And people tend to think that they have to work hard to get what they want. This used to be me. I thought the harder I worked, the more I would get, or the better I was. And in fact, it's the opposite. Deliberate manifesting or intentional manifesting is about doing things with ease. It's trusting the events and the timing of the events that are happening in your life. It's getting clear on what you want, then not focusing on what you want, but again, cultivating the feeling of what you will feel when you have that thing. It's about looking on the inside and placing less attention on who or what's happening outside of you, because it's never about who or what, and it's always about how you feel. And it's time to talk about your feelings. It's time to live in a space of feeling good. And when you don't feel good, honor how you feel, acknowledge it, get curious about what's going on behind that feeling, and talk about that. It's no longer okay to talk about them or what. It's time to talk about you and what's going on inside of you. And I'll give you an example. I spent many years focusing on the outside world. It was always either what was missing in my life or putting so much energy on other people. Like, if my dad does this, then I will be able to feel this way, right? Or if the person at work helps me with this one thing, then it will allow me to have a better day. And that's impossible. For me, when I finally surrendered to the need of having to control things that were outside of me, that is when I actually began to manifest things that were beyond my wildest dreams. I have repaired relationships with people that I never thought I would ever see again. And so the idea is that the real work is inside of you, and you must start there. It all starts there. And so with this year coming to an end, I want to invite you guys to use this time to wrap up the year on a good note, tie loose ends, whatever that looks like for you. Make amends with people if you're struggling with relationships in your life. Whatever it is, time is so short, life is short. Do whatever you have to do to set yourself up for success going into 2020. And while sure, if you feel led to make a New Year resolution, by all means do so. But beyond that, I invite you to make a deeper commitment to yourself, that you will stay committed to whatever you most need, whatever you want and desire every day, not just for the first 3 months of the new year, and that you will look at yourself, not other people. Imagine the growth one would experience if they took their attention from the outside world and placed it on the world inside of them. It would be absolutely amazing. We are all capable of endless and limitless possibilities. And 2020 can absolutely be the best year you've experienced yet. It can be whatever you want it to be, but you must do your part. Time isn't slowing down for you or for me, as we know, right? We're sitting here and it's December, which is so wild. So whatever has held you back this year, it's time to work on it. It's time to resolve it, to heal it, to overcome it. Whether it's something from your past, perhaps you're still hurt over a breakup you had, or maybe you're holding on to anger from something a loved one did or didn't do to you, feeling unfulfilled in your career, or perhaps not good enough. Maybe you feel unhappy in a relationship. Maybe you're lacking meaning and purpose. Whatever your story is, only you know, and maybe you don't know what's in the way, and that's okay too. But if you feel like something is missing in your life, or you often find yourself dwelling on something of your past, it's time to identify those areas and work on those areas so you can experience the best year, which is ahead of us. It's not necessary to bring up last year, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. So often people are retelling the stories of the past, And the reality is those stories don't matter anymore. What matters is how you feel. What matters is what is getting in the way of you truly being able to live the life of your dreams. What's getting in the way of you being able to move forward in your life. And when we sit here and we retell the stories of the past, or when we sit here and we place all of our attention on people, places, things, all that does is hijack the present moment. It literally robs us of the only real time we have, which is right now. And it's not necessary to overwork to the point of stress and frustration. And it's certainly not necessary to sit in the space of what once caused you anger and all that yuckiness. And I know this can be really difficult. And a lot of this is absolutely a process. It takes time. But I can't stress enough how important it is to take ownership of your life and do whatever you need to do to feel good. I know it doesn't feel good to relive pain of the past because I've been there. I was there for many, many years. And it's like you're showing up. I always visualize like the person who's still stuck in the past. Like imagine this person right before you who has a whole bunch of like luggage, like 15 different suitcases. Imagine how hard that would be to actually carry around literally 15 suitcases. It would be hard. And the same exact thing applies for what's invisible. Just because a person can't see on the outside the weight you're carrying, you know how much pain it causes and the suffering that comes with carrying all of that invisible weight. And so it's time to begin to talk about the things that are hurting you. Begin to talk about the things that are holding you back. You can do this with a safe person in your life. Maybe it's a coach, maybe it's a therapist, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a partner, a husband, a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, somebody that you feel safe enough to be vulnerable to. And then beyond that, it's taking full responsibility and doing your part. You must do your part. And so, I truly, truly believe that each and every one of us, we are capable of endless things, infinite things. There's no limit to what we can do. And manifesting and creating, that is one of our many privileges and superpowers of being a human. And so if you're ready to show up and do your part, I invite you to do that. For those of you who already know about Mindful Makeover Workbook, and then for those of you who might be new listening to this podcast, I wrote Mindful Makeover 30-Day Workbook exactly for this reason. One, I wanted there to be an easy resource available for you in a fast modern world. And beyond that, I wrote it to help you identify what is in the way of you living your best life. What are the things you need to accept so that you can turn your dreams into reality and feel good and move forward in your life and truly live in the present moment? I was once that person who dwelled on the past and worried about the future. And as I sit here today, I'm no longer that person. And when I find myself drifting to the past or the future, I now have the skills to quickly come back to the present moment. All of this can be learned by allowing Mindful Makeover to be your guide. And for $25, you can completely change your life and elevate your overall mood and your experience. So today I invite you to give yourself the gift of self-love and purchase Mindful Makeover. It's available on Amazon. You can also find that link on my Instagram or directly on my website. I love you all so much. So here's to living a happy, fulfilled life with purpose, on purpose. Thank you for joining me today. If you found today's episode to be insightful and inspiring, subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. And I kindly ask that you please leave me a review so together we can help the next person. To learn more about my products and services, check out www.themindfulliving.com and come connect with me on Instagram at mindfulliving.now, where I share daily inspiration, mindful skills, tips, and more. Until the next episode, stay mindful and always remember the power that lives inside of you.